What's good? What's good? How we doing, man? Listen, Coach Chris here. Got some stuff for you, man. All right, so welcome to Light Day TV. Got a lot of things coming, workouts, following workouts, behind the scenes, maybe some interviews, podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Keep it clicking. But this episode, this is a little brief, little small preview of the podcast that I filmed and I did with a partner of mine. Is Visualize Me. They're a 3D body scanner that's inside your phone. Yep, inside your phone, get a 3D body scan, track your weight and everything else. So tune in that podcast, learn a little bit. Again, Visualize Me. You want to use my code to get a little discount. I got you, Chris30. All right, so check out the podcast, check out this episode. At the end, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, tell a friend. Light Day, let's go.
Welcome to another podcast here with Visualize. We are going to be chatting with one of our partnered personal trainers, as I like to call them, career trainers, Mr. Chris Clay.
How we doing?
Chris, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I knew you were a dad, but I just learned that you're a dad to 3, which is even more crazy. So the fact that you're taking time today after your oldest school graduation, thank you so much for being here with us. Why don't you give us a little intro about who is Chris, how long have you been training, and kind of what's your philosophy on fitness?
Yeah, thank you. Before I start, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on here with the podcast and being a part with you guys. I'm Chris, Coach Chris. My training background, I come from sports. So I played basketball and football growing my whole entire life, right? So like basketball was pretty much my love. I was fortunate enough to get the scholarship to play in college. So that was always fun, and playing in college, kind of, you know how that is with training and off summer workouts and in-season workouts. That kind of prepared me for my fitness life and how I want to train and how I want to go about my life in fitness. The philosophy I like to do is I like to train the entire person, right? Like I want to train the entire person. I don't want to just be like, oh, well, I'm only solely going to bodybuilders, or I'm only solely going to weight loss, right? I want to train the totality of the person, whether that's mental, whether that's physical, and the connection that those things have together with each other. So that's pretty much how I like to flow with my training, and I'm big on full body workouts. Like I love full body workouts. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of calisthenics, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, you already know it. I love it. Muscle up, push-ups. You know how it is. Yes, I love it.
Nice. So how long have you been training full time?
So full time, this is year 8. Year 8. I'm thinking number 10. I need to throw myself a party. You know,
Hell yeah.
10 years in the game, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, year 8, it has definitely been an up and down, you know, a roller coaster as far as goes with training, but definitely a ride that I will never, you know, regret or go back. I love training. Like it's the best.
Yeah. What would you consider your specialties in training? I know you said full body training and kind of athletic training, but what are your niches?
The big niche right now is weight loss. Like that's my thing, like weight loss, circuit training, full body training. Reason why that's kind of like a big part of me is because I lost my father some years ago with diabetes and overweight and just things like that in my family, passed on through my uncles and aunts. So that kind of like formed me into that weight loss and trying to get to that, you know, healthy levels throughout life. So yeah, that's my specialty for sure.
Yeah, and specifically fat loss, right?
Yes.
So not just weight loss, we're specifically talking about keeping the muscle mass that these people have and helping them trim some body fat, which naturally is going to let go of some of these metabolic diseases that we have going on, right?
Exactly. That's the big thing for sure.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about fat loss. For your professional recommendation, what do you think the 2 biggest mistakes people make are when it comes to their weight loss goals?
One, being realistic is one, right? And then having a clear direction of where you're trying to go. Right. So I would say hiring a fitness professional can help you bring those goals into a narrow and more direct of where you're trying to get to. I think that's a big hiccup with a lot of people who are trying to lose weight and trying to lose that body fat, right? And then understanding that it's going to be a process. right?
Right.
If
Right.
you are overweight, no disrespect to anybody, but it took a time to put that on. It's going to take time to take it off, right? So being
Oh,
patient with,
amen.
you get that, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
know, so that's the patience with body fat. Yeah, it may come off, but the biggest thing is being patient and knowing that it is a journey. You know what I'm saying? And make sure your goals are realistic and you have a time that you can get them on, right? So that's a big thing.
Yeah. So what would you say is a realistic timeline? Like how much should somebody expect to lose in a week versus a month
Yeah.
versus 6 months to a year?
Right. And again, that varies from client to client, right? So I've
Right.
had clients that come in that are a little bit more overweight and who will lose 5 to 7 pounds in the first week of me working out, right? But I basically, like realistically, we know as fitness professionals, 1 to 3 pounds is ideal for us to lose weight, right? So we don't want to go over that. I want to make sure they understand that if you lose a pound, if you lose a half a pound, if you lose 3 pounds, right? Our overall thing is making sure that we feel healthy in the end and make sure that we're moving our body properly, right? Because at the end of the day, that's still what's going to move if we're doing the right things in the kitchen, getting the proper rest, and we have fitness professional to help us along the way. So that is pretty much what I think about that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about how you feel about people stepping on the scale all the time and
Yeah.
the kind of the fluctuations that happen with just overall weight.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good metric? How are you coaching your clients to track?
Yeah. So the scale, it is a gift and a curse, right? Like as trainers, and I tell my clients all the time, like, don't step on that scale. Like you have a
Right.
check-in with me once a week, and that's the only time you're gonna step on that scale. I think it's a good thing because, like I said, like we both said, we can track our progress, is where we're at, where we're going. The only negative thing I would say about it is it gets in your head, right? If that scale is not moving the way you feel it should be moving, then that goes the negative thoughts. There goes the lack of discipline that you probably have for a week or two that you don't see that dramatic change right away, right? So that's why I say patience is a big thing. But that scale once a week is good enough, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on your training program and your client and your trainer. But yeah, one time, get off, don't look at it. We'll see you next week. Yes.
Right.
For
Right.
sure.
It's just a touch point, right? It's like an
Yes.
accountability piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just to have so you can, get out your head in a way to see that, okay, that maybe I dropped a half a pound, maybe I didn't. Do you feel better? Like those are the questions I kind of ask if the scale isn't moving crazy dramatically, but they come and say, man, I feel better. I'm moving better. This and that. Then that's perfect, right? That's what we want.
Right.
And that number's gonna come down. Like, just trust me, it will come. It will come down. If we're doing the right things, it'll come down. But you feeling good overall is like the main thing for sure.
Right. Yeah. So setting fitness goals, but then also just lifestyle goals of like, do I have
Yes.
more energy throughout my day? Did I
Yes.
sleep better last night? Right.
Right.
Those are all important pieces as well.
For sure.
Yeah. So with that being said, how has Visualize Me helped coach your clients and helped with your training programs and how you're tracking your clients' progress? Since we just talked about the scale and how fluctuations happen.
Yes.
How have you been utilizing Visualize in your training?
Yeah, so I have them checking in with Visualize Me as well as checking in with me. So I have an app that we use as far as hybrid training and in-person training to check in every week.
Nice.
So Visualize is going to be a new tactic that I'm going to be able to use with my clients now to have me have a 3D scan. And then I don't have to, actually take my hands and put it on their waist and their neck, right? So it's time efficient, super time efficient, right? And then that person also can have it in their hand. Right, and that's going to help me program them even more, depending on their goals. If we have to scale up a little bit, if we have to scale back a little bit, Visualize Me can kind of help us gauge to see what our day-to-day process is and our week-to-week process is, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and what would you recommend in terms of scan frequency? I always ask this because I've heard different reviews from some people, and I think it's very personalized to the client as well, but how often are you recommending that your clients do a body scan with Visualize?
I do once a week just because we only step on a scan once a week. So I don't want them to scan on Monday and to scan on a Friday, right? There's not going to be a crazy difference in that 3 to 4 days, right? So we get that top of the week every week and stay consistent with those scans, then we can kind of see our progression that way for sure. But like once a week is ideal for me and my clients for sure.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And are you assessing clients on Monday morning after the weekends?
Listen, I Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. It is. I've had clients to tell me like when War Day's coming up Monday,
Right.
they're like, hey, by the way, you know, let's talk about next week.
Yeah,
You
maybe
know,
Friday. Maybe Friday.
maybe Friday, maybe a Tuesday. Like, give me a couple days. So like, again, it depends on the weekend what they have. I try to be really open to people in their lifestyles and vacation, summer's coming up, and birthdays and graduations and all that good stuff. So
Right.
I do want to be mindful of that. But at the same time, I still want to stay consistent. You know,
Nice.
we still gotta get this game in. We gotta
Yeah.
get it in.
I knew you were gonna give the trainer answer of, yeah, we're still assessing on Monday.
Yeah, we're still getting it in. Like, we can work together, but it's getting done. It's getting done one way or another, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Tell me why tracking progress is so important. Why tracking any kind of data points, and specifically tell me about what data points are you tracking? Are we tracking, body composition? Are you tracking sets, reps, progression, deloads? Like, talk to me a little bit about how you program things for your clients.
Yeah. So again, like I said, it varies from client to client. But the way I do it with my tracking, I do have an app, so each person gets a personalized program. Right, and we do have sets, and we do have tracking with duration, whether the case may be, a fixed 3 sets, 10, 10, 10. Or we may go up and progress in 10, 12, 15, whatever the case may be, right? Not so much deloading right now with these clients, because a lot of my clients are like a lot of like weight loss, so I'm doing a lot of circuit training, trying to get their muscle mass up, or burning instead of body fat. So that has definitely helped me, and that's how I track my workout. So after the workouts, whether it's hybrid or online, we can hit finish, and then it gives me, if like, all right, you did your work, you did your homework this week. You come in, and then I see that you have 2 missing. You're gonna get a phone call or a nice little
Right.
FaceTime, like, hey, what's going on here? Like,
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what happened here? So that's kind of how I kind of progress and track my clients month to month, and I try to go back every couple months and kind of reassess their goals and see where we want to be at, right? I just had one yesterday morning. Goals change just like we change. Every day people change, but I try to let them know that whatever goal we have, let's stick to it for a little bit rather than changing every 30 days. We have a new goal. We have a new goal, right? Let's stay consistent. Let's knock one down. Then we'll knock the next one down. And that's kind of how I progress and kind of train my clients, yeah.
That's great. And would you say that you keep that same philosophy with your own training programs?
Yeah, I have to. I'm a little older now. It may not look like it, but I'm 36. So,
Very nice.
yeah, I know, right? I feel good at 36, but we both know the older you get, the more you have to be able to hone in and have a disciplined look on your fitness journey, right? So with me, a big thing is stretching, right? Being an athlete, growing up, athletes, we just kind of like, all
A little
right,
bit of
let's
this, a little
go.
bit of that.
Exactly. 1, 2, and we're out. Right. So now that I know that, the older I get and training clients, foam rolling is vital to me. Having days where we just kind of sit down and be quiet, get the mind right, new body connected with one. So that's definitely has helped me in my training program for sure.
Nice. And so what would you say, like everybody I think gets so focused on their workouts, programming, getting to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, increasing their sets and their reps and their weights. What are probably 2 to 3 other touch points that people forget about when they're thinking about hitting their health and fitness goals? For example, like I always tell my clients, like if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep a night, you can forget about your weight loss goals. Your cortisol is going to be too high, right? So what would you say are 2 to 3 other big focus points for people who have these weight loss goals that aren't revolved around going to the gym?
Yeah, so like kind of like a hurdle that they have, pretty much what you're trying to say, like somewhat. Yeah, so with that being said, one thing that I have run into was, you know about this, is stress eating. Right.
Interesting.
Right?
Yes, let's talk about that.
So like, I try to be able to tell them to have a positive relationship with their food. Right? So like, and that starts with in your head, right? So not villainizing yourself and saying like, I gotta eat this, right? So let's try to start off with positive self-talk, right? Maybe eating smaller portions, right? Maybe having, when you do eat, take your time, right? If you have a 30-minute lunch break or an hour lunch break, really slow down and eat, chew your food, swallow, take a deep breath, right? Let it go down. I think a lot of times when we inhale and we just, inhale, you already know how that goes. Everything's
Oh yeah.
slow. Now we're, for sluggish. So I tell them kind of take their time, eat a little bit. That's one thing that I've run into. And then the another big one, which is water, which is crazy. Water and sleep. Like, you'll be
It's
surprised how
the
many people don't
secret
want to drink.
sauce.
Like they don't want to drink water and sleep. So I do have a way to track that as well. We can track water too, but I just try to let them know, like, stay hydrated as much as you can, right? I'm not saying to go drink a gallon of water or drink 2 gallons of water, right? That's not going to fit every single person. But I want you to stay hydrated as much as you can, because if you are having an exercise program or you're trying to get into the health fitness level, then you need to stay hydrated because your muscles need it, your body needs it. It's just good overall. So those are like two of the things that I really like lean into. But the stress eating, I have run into that so much lately because of just everything that's around and people and life. So like we try to find ways and avenues to kind of help out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the hard part about that is like it's a very subconscious thing. Like we don't even realize that we're doing it until you're done and then you feel gross.
And all
right?
going is like, oh, I just did that.
Yeah. So, I know it's one of those things that and we've heard this a gazillion times before, but like, don't keep food like that in the house because we're all going to be tempted to eat the late night stuff.
Yes.
I recently, like a couple years ago, started cutting my food off early before I went, like 2 to 3 hours before I went to bed, because I realized that at night was when I was doing the munch and I wasn't focusing on my fitness goals at 8 o'clock before bed.
Yeah.
And I think also like that's, like you get home you've got kids, you're getting the kids ready for school, you're packing lunches, you're prepping dinner. And I think that's sometimes where people start to feel the stress of the day and the stress of the next day coming up. And then that's when they start to meander around and snack. The other thing is like, so I cut my food off early, probably like 2 to 3 hours before bed just to avoid that.
Yeah.
But also it just helps me make sure that I'm eating enough during the day, right? Because I think a lot of people don't eat enough throughout their day.
Yes.
And then they get to the end of the night. And then if you're in a 800, 900 calorie deficit, then you're going to be hungry, right?
You go crazy at dinner. You're going to go crazy. Yes.
Yes. And the water thing, man, it's like one of the first questions I ask new clients. And it's like, it's amazing to me when people are like, yeah, I drink coffee all day. I have like, half a liter, or like a couple bottles of water. And I'm like, are you good right now? Do you want to drink some water right now? Like,
you don't have a headache. You sure you don't have a headache right now? Like, what's going on? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And hydration is one of those things that, like, if you're not hydrated, your body's going to carry around water because it's not sure when it's going to get more water. And so you're actually not helping your health and fitness goals if you aren't drinking water, because you are going to be heavier, believe it or not. It's crazy.
You retain it. Yeah, you don't retain all that water. Yep, for sure.
The best way I explain it to people is like, you've seen the bodybuilders when they're prepping and they're carrying around those big gallon jugs everywhere they go.
Yeah.
There's a reason, right?
There's an exact reason why they do that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, nutrition, sleep, there's so many other factors that come into health and fitness.
Yes.
Let's say somebody's listening to this.
Right.
It's their first time getting on a health and fitness journey. What would be your course of action for them? What should they be focused on? And like realistically, right? Because I think sometimes when we get excited about health and fitness goals, our clients, they want to do everything at one time, right?
Yes.
And they're like, I'm going to sleep more. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, I love it. I love the motivation. I love the energy behind it. But you're going to do that for 2 weeks and then you're going to fail. And then you're going to fall off of completely all fitness goals, right? So what would be your professional recommendation? Where should somebody start? Like, what does that look like? Especially as somebody that works with, a bit, sounds like more obese, larger individuals. Like, what does that starting point look like?
I would say first, just making the commitment, right? Whether that's hiring a fitness professional or just getting a gym membership. I know that the big thing with the gym memberships is, will be a lot of people are like intimidated going into the gym, right? So like, if you're new to the journey, you're new to the fitness area, my first step would be just either hire a fitness professional or just stepping in the gym, right? Get outside that comfort zone. And then when you have that quote unquote like fear or that blockage, I tell people just put that goal that you had in your mind. Of, I want to lose weight. I want to get healthier. Put that in the front. All right. Let's put that in
Yep.
the front of your mind and let's just keep pushing. One step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one rep at a time. Right. But let's just come
Right.
in here and just get on the bike and ride for 10 minutes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. The next day you come in, you ride for 12 minutes. Right. Or you go back
Right.
to 10. Right. But let's try to stay consistent and get on the plan that we can just say, we've been going to the gym for the month straight. I don't care
Oh.
about that. I want you to get inside, or you've been working out with the trainer for a month straight, right? So like that's the big thing with that. Also, I would say to as far as goals go, let's do short-term goals, right? Let's break it down. Let's go for a week. Let's go for a day, right?
Right.
Like I don't want you to feel overwhelmed because a lot of people do that when they come to, like you said, in the fitness industry. It's like, all right, I need to lose 30 pounds. I have 28 days and I have a vacation and I need to be snatched for my
Right.
photo. Right? And you're like,
Classic.
all right, I love it. Like you said, I love it, but let's slow down a little bit, right? Like, let's just get through this first week. Let's get through this first session, breaking it down, right? And when it comes to food and sleeping and all that good stuff, like you said, everybody wants to do it all at once. Let's find what we're doing good right now. What are you doing
Yeah.
good right now? Are you sleeping? I get enough sleep. Perfect. That's off the list. Are you drinking enough water? Okay, we're going to add that to the list. How's the food? So-so. All right, so cool. The biggest thing is the food, right? Let's go ahead and attack that. The water can come along with the drink, right? So no sodas while we're drinking our food. Let's just drink a little bottle of water. So now we kind of attack 2 in 1. We clean up the food, but we still have that water on standby. So it kind of, break those goals down into smaller goals. And then overall, when you go to them 1, 2 months and then look back, you're like, wow, I was really consistent. Like, and that's kind of
Right.
the confidence I want to build in people and just the world in general. Like, you can do this. Like,
Yeah.
you can do this. You can do it for sure.
Yeah. Compounding, habit stacking. I think is what they call it these days,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So start small, master it for 30 days,
That's it.
then maybe chip off a little bit more. You know?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I don't want you to bite off too much and then you're like, all right, this is too much. I got to get out of here. And you're back in that cycle of like starting, stopping. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people do that because of what you just said, which is they haven't given themselves enough time, and
Yeah.
now they're trying to cram everything into a short period of time
Yeah.
to get to their results.
For
And
sure.
it's like if you would have just started 30 days ago, 60 days ago, making these small changes, right?
Yes.
Then you would
Yeah.
probably be where you want to be, and you wouldn't be cramming for 30 days on a fad diet. That's going to mess up your hormones, and you're going to
You
be
know-
miserable and
You
all
know
kinds of
what I'm
stuff.
saying? Also, I want to say too, like to the people out there like starting their journey or on their journey right now, give yourself some grace.
Yep.
Give yourself some grace, right? Like you've made the accomplishment, you've made the goal, you set it, you started. Be happy with that, right? And just
Right.
like you said, compound day by day. But like I just wanted to make sure I say that, like, give yourself some grace. Like, be happy
Yeah.
with what you're doing. You're making the right step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, behavior change is hard,
Yes,
and it takes time.
yes, that is
So
fact.
I love that. It's so true.
For
Beautiful.
sure.
Well, Chris, tell me if this resonates with somebody. They
Yes.
they love Chris Clay. They love
Yes.
his energy. They love his programs. How would they get into touch with you, and
Yes.
what kind of offerings do you have? I know you do in-person training, and it sounds like you do online. Talk to me about
Yes.
how you serve your clients.
Yeah, so if you want to, go ahead and find me.
Yeah.
Go ahead and find me. There we go, better. No, yeah, I'm on Light Day Fitness on all social media platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Light Day Fitness. On that, you can also go to my app I have through Fitbud, excuse me. With that, I have different plans, whether it's a hybrid plan or if it's a strictly online plan. We give you different plans to track your progress as well. So you can find me on there if you want to do that. And if you're local in Florida, you can find me too. Or if you're in LA or Cali,
Hey.
doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly right. Find me on social media sites if you have any questions. If you want to just partner up or just have a community and build a community with me, please feel free. I'm open. I want to have more people in the fitness industry, work with me, and I want to work with them. So that's my thing, Light Day Fitness. My slogan, I will say every day is a light day. All right. That's a mentality that every day that you wake up, that you got a chance to do something, it's a light day, right? If you had a hard day the day before, guess what? You wake up, it's a light day, baby. Let's go. All right. So that's
Yeah.
my biggest thing is Light Day Fitness. And again, thank you. I appreciate you so much for this. It's super cool. It's my first one, by the way.
Podcast?
Yes.
It's so funny because I've done this with a couple of trainers now, and they all say the same thing. They're like, I've never been interviewed like this. And it's like, yeah, it's funny because these are the conversations we have at like lunch. You know,
Seriously, like this is a normal sit down of eating. You know what? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
My client, she won't listen to me, you know, this, that, and the other. And, oh, yeah, I had a client do this and blah, blah. Yeah, like, this is just how we talk and like
Seriously.
the break room in between our
Yes.
sessions. And it's just now we just put a camera in front of us and the conversation doesn't change. It's like everything that you
Yes.
guys have heard today. These are the things that your coaches are talking about on a regular basis with other coaches. And good coaches like Chris, they surround themselves with other good coaches, you know, so you're always bouncing ideas off of each other. If I learn a skill, Chris is learning a skill. If Chris is learning a skill, I'm learning a skill. And so I love the camaraderie and the community of being with trainers. And I know there's probably a lot of people here who are probably not as open to the online fitness space, but like you just said, like start your journey, get some guidance. I understand having somebody in the gym to coach you through the movements and stuff is important, but
Yes.
you would be amazed at how talented these trainers are for online coaching and how well they can coach you even from the other side of the country, right?
Yeah.
There's so much technology nowadays. You've got these online training platforms like you're talking about where you get demos of the exercises and the sets and the reps. We now have Visualize Me where we can assess our
yes.
clients
Yes.
from the comfort of their own homes, off their smartphones. Like the technology world is moving, even
Yes.
in the fitness industry. And so if you have halted at your fitness goals because you're like, I don't want to meet with somebody in person, just know that like the world is here now and we are more than able to service you in an online space just as well as we could in an in-person facility.
I couldn't say that any better. You know, I couldn't say that any better. I appreciate that. Thank you. That
No,
was
of
good.
course.
That was good. That was good.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. We will be sharing this with our Visualize Me community, and then also feel free to share these on your socials.
Yes.
And we will see you soon. We'll do this again.
All right. Thank you again. Appreciate it. And talk to you soon.